twice. All right. Well, this is our third interview in our series called Sustainable Transportation Chats.
The time's a charm.
Yes. And so I'm Tim Potter with MSU Bikes, which is right behind us, behind the camera, and this is Eric Tanz. Tell us a little bit about your work you're at the library.
That's right. Yeah, I'm the environmental sciences librarian here at MSU. I'm also the sciences coordinator, so I work with all of the sciences, but my main area of focus and the area that I get most excited about is with sustainability and environmental science. So I work with the community sustainability department and the environmental science and policy program. And then kind of also as a side gig is I've kind of become a bit of a historian on the history of the Red Cedar River. So
right behind us.
Right here, the beautiful campus icon of the Red Cedar River.
How fitting for this interview.
Yeah, I'm happy
We're
to
debating, like, should we have that be the back or this one? That not makes perfect sense that the river's right behind you. Yeah, Eric put together a couple really good websites about the history of the river, about the history of activities along the river, and then there's a really nice walking tour of sites around campus that are closer to the river. So I'll put some links to those in the interview, the write-up later. But
all right, yeah.
In the
comments.
Yeah. So you've been a good customer of our shop here over the years. We've, I think, helped keep this bike and maybe others going. And so tell us a little bit about, like, when you started biking for commuting. You know, I mean, I think all of us started maybe biking at a really young age, but we can jump ahead to when you maybe started bike commuting.
Yeah. So before I came to MSU, I was living in Pittsburgh, and I was working at a public library there as I was in library school, and I really wanted to bike commute, but there were some really sketchy roads that I wanted to try to avoid, and very steep hills. So the choice was either ride on the roads with the scary cars or go down and up a very steep hill. And I tried the steep hill a couple of times, and I got too sweaty. it was a little bit too much. But then once I moved here, I started bike commuting right away. I actually mentioned my desire to bicycle commute in the Q&A for my presentation at my interview. When somebody was asking, how I was interviewing for an environmental sciences position, and they asked, how does that tie into my personal life? And I mentioned how I really wanted to live somewhere and have a job somewhere that I could bicycle commute as part of the answer. So when I got the job offer here, I immediately started looking up things on the website about bicycling, and I remember reading about MSU Bikes, and I remember reading about the enclosed bicycles, the cages for parking were brand new at that time, and I was really excited about that. So I think that was the first thing that I ever did when I came into the bike shop, was to get a pass to park in the ramp over there on Grand River Avenue, by Olin Hall.
Was it this bike that you started commuting with?
Yeah, so I've commuted with this bike the whole time. This has been my bike since like 2004. And it's been my main bike. I do have another bike that I ride sometimes, but this is my favorite. It's very, it has a big emotional significance to me, so I want to keep it in good riding condition. And it's also just a great workhorse, it's never given me any real problems, even after all these years.
Great commuter bike in every respect. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, our camera person, Erin over there, she also has some Pittsburgh stories she can tell you later. So, do you, you've already covered that. So a lot of people, when I tell them, oh yeah, like, do you bike every day? It's like, yeah. A little, sometimes not as long as other days, but a lot of times the next thing they'll say is, well, doesn't it get too hot or too cold in the winters to ride? I mean, I have my own response to that, but do you get that quite often?
I mean, some people do ask that, and I have to admit that I'd say I'm a 3-season cyclist,
Okay.
so I don't bike in the deep of winter. That's my bus time. So I also I love bikes and I love cycling, but I also love public transportation, and I think buses are amazing. So I'm happy to ride the bus when I'm not riding the bike. I'm also on the board of the Capital Area Transit Authority right now.
Oh.
So I represent the city of Lansing on that board. So I have to make sure I give a shout out to CATA and the great work that they do here on campus and all in the surrounding communities.
They all have bike racks on the buses.
And every bus will have
Yeah.
bike rack space for I think 2 bikes on the front.
It used to be 3. I don't understand why they went to 2 from 3, because they had 2s for a long time, and then they upgraded to 3s because it was such a popular thing, and then they went back to 2s. So that's for a different time, different story.
I'm not sure. But
That's cool.
But when it's hot out, I will ride my bike. I just get really sweaty. I bring a change of clothes. I don't commute in this shirt or this undershirt. I do commute in these pants, and I just accept the fact that it's going to be hot and sweaty, and have a change of clothes. And then layering is really important when it's colder out. In the fall and early spring.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say that, when you're biking, you're actually exercising, so you're generating, when you sweat, you're generating air as you move, so you're creating your own air conditioning. And then you're also creating your own heat, whereas when you're walking or waiting for the bus, you're not really generating enough heat to stay warm or to cool off. But no, that's great. I mean, and that hybrid commute where you bike many days of the year and then you bus, or sometimes people don't think about it, but maybe they think they live too far away from campus to bike all the way, but they could put their bike on the bus, take the bus in part of that or most of the way, and then bike from the station for that last mile. I mean, so there's a lot of different ways that people can commute that takes a little bit of thinking. I mean, in the winter or bad weather, I'll oftentimes have my winter bike. I have a different bike for winter, and I'll keep that in my vehicle, and I'll drive into where South Campus where it's free, and I'll ride that last mile in.
Yeah, I was going to mention that when you were talking about different commuting options. And there's
Right.
also you could bring your bike and park down there and bike up, or you could park down there. There's also the buses run that route as well. I don't know if they still have that self-driving electronic bus that was making the run up and down Farm Lane.
I've seen it parked down
But
there.
they
The
were
autonomous bus.
Yeah, the autonomous bus was assisting with people that were parking down there and getting them up to the main part of campus also.
Yeah, I wonder how that shuttle, I think they called it an autonomous shuttle. I wonder what the status of that is. But that's maybe for a different story.
Yeah.
So, are there other people in the MSU library system that are biking much? Other employees? Do you have a little club or anything?
For sure. Yeah, there are several people in the library who bike every day, even in the winter. They bike more regularly than I do.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I think lots of people, try to, make sure that they are living somewhere close enough to campus, so that they don't have to have a really long commute, and they'll either walk or they'll bike. I have neighbors that live on the east side of Lansing with me that also ride their bikes. So, yeah, I would say there's a good handful, maybe a dozen or so of people that I think regularly ride their bikes to campus for their commute.
That's cool. Yeah, you said a couple things there that I wanted to elaborate on, but it's amazing how fast things slip your mind, in my mind anyway. So MSU is a award-winning bike-friendly university, and you've been on the bike advisory committee and been a part of the process of helping us get that award. We are at gold level, and we renewed that, so we're at the gold level, and the next level is platinum. Do you think, you have some ideas for maybe low-hanging fruit or maybe attainable things that we could do to be a more bike-friendly university?
Yeah, well, I don't know how low hanging it is, but I would love to have a little bit more of like a cohesive like system for biking that connects the campus to the surrounding communities, whether it's Lansing or East Lansing or Okemos. I feel like, and I think we're moving in that direction, especially with the new bike trail out in the east side by the MSU Community Music School. But I would love for there to be a little bit more of a cohesive kind of infrastructure around cycling that kind of spanned the different neighboring communities and campus.
Better signage, I think.
Signage,
There are facilities, but if you're new to the campus, it's kind of hard to know where to go to find those connections.
Yeah, and the other thing would just be filling in some of the gaps. You know, I know like Farm Lane, you have a bike lane that just kind of ends, and people who are using it are all of a sudden find themselves in traffic, and not everybody's comfortable doing that. And so just figuring out a way to kind of fill in the gaps and make those connections, I think would go a long way. And just getting, I don't know, I don't have like a solution for like sharing information with people because the student population just continually turns over. But getting the word out that biking is faster and more efficient and safer when you're riding in the road than when you're riding on the sidewalk. I think that's like a continual uphill battle. And it's not just on campus either. There's the new development going in on Michigan Avenue in Lansing, right in my neighborhood, and they're putting bike lanes that are just on the sidewalk. And there are people that are using those bike lanes and riding, and it's there was the other day I was trying to turn and I could see that there was someone on a bike, and I was had to make sure that I was waiting for them to go before I could do my turn. And
and you as a motorist had to really think. And you're a bicyclist as a motorist. I find the same. And so motorists that don't bike.
If I hadn't been on the lookout for that person as I passed them, I could have really created a dangerous situation for them.
Yeah, it's definitely a danger when you're riding on the sidewalk. So back to your, maybe as a wrap up, what would you say to people who might be, listen to what you said about bike commuting to work and how nice it is that you found it to be so nice? What are some things that you would encourage them to do, I guess, if they want to just start trying it out?
Yeah, I would say feel free to talk to Tim about what if you have any questions or concerns. I think I always like, if I'm in a new place, I might go on to Google Maps and look at Street View and see what the roads look like if I'm not sure what a road might look like and whether or not I would want to bike on it. Or you could also kind of drive the route that you might think about biking in your car and see, but with a mind for what the road looks like for cycling on. If you're just kind of nervous about getting out on your bike and riding those roads. And then I would just say, give it a try. The only drawback really is you might be a little bit sweaty when you get into work, but you could just try for a day. You could start a day a week. You don't have to do it every single day. So just whatever you're comfortable with, give it a shot, and you might find that you really enjoy it.
Yes, to that point, we actually, and I do help people with, like Eric said, if you're not sure about your route or other things, we do offer one-on-one consulting with routes. So if you just want to email or call in or even stop by, happy to talk to you about your route options to help you find something maybe a little less stressful and a little safer and more enjoyable. The other thing about arriving to work sweaty, a lot of us have buildings that either have lockers and showers, or in my case, we don't have a real locker room or showers, but I basically do what I call a bird bath. It's like we have lockers in the shop, but I'll keep a change of clothes, and and bring fresh ones, obviously, change them out. But you can clean up in a restroom if you have the privacy, obviously. But there's also our IM facilities where anybody that works on campus can go use a locker and a shower at an IM facility at any time. If you want a full-size locker and you want to keep your stuff in it, you got to pay for that. There was a time where we had that as a free service if you said you were a bike commuter, but unfortunately that went away. But those are some other and equipment. This is an ideal beautiful commuter setup. You don't necessarily need a beautiful commuter bike setup. You can start on a cruiser or something very simple and work your way into, so you don't have to think about, I don't have a nice bike like that. You don't really need a super commuter bike or special clothing or anything to do it. You can just get started with what you have and decide if you like it before you start spending more money on it.
But the money if there is anything that you would need, whether it be a helmet or lights or a lock, you can always get those things right here at the MSU Bike Service Center.
Thank you for that plug. It's so. One thing I'll point out about the equipment, having your stuff on a pannier on the back or on that frame pack, getting it off your back for me was just a real wonderful discovery. Someone said, why are you using a backpack many years ago? And that was just what naturally came to mind. To carry my lunch and my change of clothes was on a backpack. Well, especially on these hot days, it really tends to make you sweat even more. So if you can get a rack and some bags on the back, get that off your back, it is a wonderful feeling to have more airflow through it, and you don't sweat as much.
I actually have a backpack that I put inside one of the panniers, and then I take it out and put everything in it so that I have a backpack to wear when I'm not on the bike, but I don't ever wear it when I'm riding my bike.
Yep, so helmet, lights, those are the essentials. And we'd be happy to, if you come into the shop anytime, we'd be happy to talk to you more about all of that stuff. And well, thanks again for sitting down with us for a little bit. Do you have any other things you want to, pearls of wisdom, want to share with our audience, or administrators, or whoever might be watching?
Oh, well, I think I saw the last interview. You talked about pedal with the Prez as an idea, so I figure if we just talk about it enough times, we might be able to speak it into existence. So hopefully we'll be able to do some bike rides with some senior administrators here on campus sometime soon, and they'll be able to see how beautiful the campus is from the perspective of a bicycle.
Yes, great. Well, thanks again, Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Happy to talk.
Happy trails, and thanks to our camera operator there, Aaron Riley, and Colin Lechner on sound. Thank you so much for the support and help with this, and that's a wrap for today, so bye-bye.
All right.